at State House in Entebbe. The visit led to the signing of several agreements in trade, agriculture, education and security. Let's hear more in this report.
The Belarusian team, led by First Deputy Prime Minister Sergei Lukashevich, engaged with Ugandan officials, led by Prime Minister Robin Banja. The discussions focused on strengthening bilateral cooperation in agriculture, investment, trade, education, and defense and security. To cement this commitment, both sides signed a series of agreements, including a memorandum of understanding on political consultations, an agreement on visa exemption for diplomatic and service passport holders, a memorandum of understanding on military technical cooperation, a memorandum of understanding on education, food security, and peaceful use of nuclear energy. They also signed an agreement on the establishment of a joint committee on trade and economic cooperation.
Ваше превосходительство, мои поздравления.
They specifically expressed readiness to cooperate
В частности, обозначили готовность сотрудничества
in areas like agriculture,
в таких сферах, как сельское хозяйство,
agro-business,
кооперация,
investment,
инвестиции,
trade,
торговля,
education,
образование
and defense and security.
И оборона и безопасность.
Uganda is also set to benefit from advanced training in artificial intelligence and information technology.
Belarus is very advanced in IT.
Мы также, мне стало известно, что Беларусь высокоразвита в сфере высоких технологий
And artificial intelligence.
и искусственного интеллекта.
I was telling the Right Honorable Prime Minister that here we have got very high quality scientists.
Я говорил господину премьер-министру, что здесь у нас высококлассные профессионалы и ученые.
But we need to emphasize artificial intelligence.
Но нам нужно уделить особое внимание искусственному интеллекту.
And ICT.
И цифровизации.
And IT.
И всему спектру цифровых технологий.
And therefore, I asked him and he agreed to train our people there.
Я предложил, обратился с просьбой, и он подтвердил организовать возможность обучения наших людей.
To ensure follow-up on these agreements, President Museveni appointed a special committee led by the ICT Minister Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, alongside Agriculture Minister Frank Tumwebaze, Defense Minister Jacob Oboth, and Trade Minister Francis Mwebesa. The Belarus Prime Minister expressed his government's readiness to see the agreements implemented.
I'm quite certain that the Western countries looks at Africa as the surge for the sources and the market for sale of their goods.
Мы же в Беларуси исповедуем другой подход. Мы приходим к вам как партнеры и как друзья.
In Belarus, we do use different approach. We're coming to you as friends and partners.
И готовы поделиться всем, что у нас есть.
And ready to share with you everything we have.
Представители и руководство угандийских компаний для того, чтобы мы могли провести показать, во-первых, все наши предложения в реальности и провести предметные переговоры по заключению взаимовыгодных экономических договоренностей.
And of course, we do await visits of the leadership of the Ugandan companies to Belarus in order for us to be able to show our potentials and abilities and to detailedly discuss the direct contracts in order to further develop our cooperation.
Meanwhile, a new visa exemption agreement will see holders of diplomatic and service passports from both countries travel without visas for up to 30 days per visit. The visit concluded with Prime Minister Globoshenko reaffirming Belarus's support for Uganda's leadership of the non-allied movement.
President Museveni has urged members of the NRM District Executive Committee for Ntungamo District to concentrate on household income improvement instead of being distracted by the issue of sharing national cake. President Yoweri Museveni said this while briefing and briefly responding to the issues of concern raised by the members of the District Executive Committee from Ntungamo District. The meeting was chaired by the First Lady, Mrs. Janet Museveni, at State House, Nakasero.
Among issues raised in the Ntungamo NRM DEC status report was that the district has not got a fair share from the national cake, irrespective of its size and status. They urged that the number of responsible cadres in influential positions remain unsatisfactory and requested the president to increase on the number of NRM cadres from Ntungamo appointed as ministers and RDCs. The president advised the NRM leaders not to mislead people by clamoring for more administrative units and positions, but instead to focus on delivering services to the people.
Mbasha tubanze district C, sente z'abana tuzitubye, tugire ba meya, tugire ba LC5 bengi, konka abanako bagumba lyabanako. Konka ekikuru nyo kumana mwenda kutambira wanyu. Entasi yamaka hamwe na free education, ebintu ebi health, extractor, immunization negenda ki ikizibu kiri hakuragura embazo okugiba mu dispensaries.
President Museveni said that the PDM program has enabled improvement of household income generation across the country without discrimination. He further said that the progress of sharing the national cake in terms of infrastructure cannot be distributed. He gave an example of Ntungamo district, which now has 22 government secondary schools compared to only one secondary school in the whole of Ankole in the 1960s. He also noted that health facilities have also increased to 29 health centers in Ntungamo district. The president agreed to the request to increase the road equipment for large districts like Ntungamo, which has a big population and a road network of over 2,000 kilometers.
Mwebare kuhereza abantu beitu, mwebare kutahemukira mukama wabahereze obujunaanizi bwobu kuhereza abantu be in that area.
Mrs. Museveni encouraged the Ntungamo NRM leaders never to tire of drawing her attention and that of NRM leaders about issues of the grassroots and following up with the relevant ministries. The NRM leaders appreciated the PDM and the MIOGA programs alongside the special grants for women empowerment and people with disabilities, which have gone a long way to increase household incomes.
Mama ntwenda kusima presidenti ahabwa umuranga murungi ogwa parish development model kandi niwe ntwenda kusima ahanana urutayo rwona urwarukuzaho nano kubasa okumwebembera mukahiyanga lyona.
Reporting for UBC, Baguma William.
Now, Kano retired Dr. Kiza Besigye, his aide Haji Obed Lutale Kamlegeya, and a UPDF officer, Captain Dennis Oula, have been arraigned before the Nakawa Chief Magistrate's Court on offences related to treason and misprision of treason. With the accused not allowed to take plea since this court has no jurisdiction to do so, prosecution dropped the charges of unlawful possession of firearms and ammunition, which they were charged with earlier in the General Court-Martial. Court further remanded the accused to Luzira Government Prison until 7th March 2024.
At around 9:30 a.m., retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besigye and his aide Haji Obedi Utale Kamulegeya, a UPDF officer, Captain Dennis Olal, under tight security, were delivered at Nakawa Chief Magistrate's Court. In court, Dr. Kizza Besigye, who was pushed in a wheelchair under tight security before Chief Magistrate Esther Nandoi, they were charged with offences related to treason and misprision of treason, dropping the charge of unlawful possession of firearms and ammunitions, which the General Court Martial had preferred against them.
And expressed or declared such plot as by law established and expressed or declared such plot, act or matter by actions and without acts.
The charge sheet also read that Dr. Kizza Besigye, Obedi Lutale, Captain Dennis Oral and others still at large between the year 2023 and November 2024 at various places and countries, including Geneva in Switzerland, Greece, Nairobi in Kenya and in Kampala, contravened the plot to overturn the government of Uganda through utterances and overt acts.
Knowing that another person intended to commit treason did not give information thereof with all reasonable dispatch to the minister, an administrative officer, a magistrate, or an officer in charge of a police station, or use all reasonable endeavors to prevent the commission of treason.
Prosecution also alleges that the accused also provided logistic support and organized travels for several Ugandan citizens to Kisumu, Kenya, for the purposes of receiving training in various military and intelligence gathering techniques.
Attending meetings with various individuals, both physically and virtually in various places, including Geneva in Switzerland.
However, since this court lacks jurisdiction to try the offence against the accused, they were not allowed to take plea. Prosecution led by Assistant DPPs Thomas Jatiko, Lino Anguzu, and Chief State Attorney Richard Willy Vumbuka informed court that the investigations are still ongoing and asked court for more time. Although the defense legal team did not object to the prayers, they asked court to ensure that the accused attain medical attention. Following their unhealthy status, the Chief Magistrate Esther Nandoi further remanded the accused until 7th March 2025. Drama ensued in court after Besigye was sent back to remand from friends and relatives singing insulting songs. That prompted security to take on chance, but to create safe passage for him to go back to Ruzila prison. Erias Lukwago informed the media that, basing on the fact that Dr. Kizza Besigye has now been charged, he has now suspended the hang strike.
And the Constitution grants all these rights. Look at Article 23. Article 23 is very, very clear. An accused person who is in detention has got a right to get medical treatment. Now that he has been formally arraigned and a remand warrant issued, and we are pursuing the bail process, is calling off the hunger strike.
Jacqueline Okwi, the spokesperson, Director of Public Prosecutions, expounded on the reasons why they had to drop the charges of unlawful possession of firearms and ammunitions against the accused.
On the basis of the investigations that we conducted with the police, these are the two charges that we found appropriate, and we found sufficient evidence or substantial evidence to sustain the two charges.
Others who attended court had this to say.
There are many tears of the Ugandans outside there, and today personally I have seen the tears of old men and old women.
By presumption, the new charges against Dr. Kizza Besigye and Obedi Lutale marks a legal narrative that the two are now held in custody legally. Deborah Namamonde, Viola Nansuga, UBC News.
And still in court, but High Court Criminal Division in Kampala has declined to grant bail to Mole Katanga, the wife of late Henry Katanga. Court based on the gravity of the offence in denying Ms. Katanga bail and that her continued allegations of ill health can be handled and managed by prison authorities.
Mole Katanga, who has appeared via Zoom from Luzula government prison, is answering charges of murdering her husband, Henry Katanga. She faces the charges with their two daughters, Martha Nkwanza, Patricia Kakwanza, a medical practitioner, George Amanyile, and Otai Charise Shamba Boy. Last week, the accused Mole Katanga asked court to grant her bail of her unwell health status, being a sole breadwinner of her family, and being of advanced age 55. However, all prayers were objected by the prosecution and also asked court to find the accused's suit not being substantial, among other grounds therein. Judge Rosette Kania this Friday, after perusing both sides' submissions, dismissed Mole Katanga's bail application on grounds that the alleged illnesses can be handled by the prison authorities, basing on the advice by the medical experts.
Find that the option to have the applicant access the medical attention that she requires outside the confines of the prison walls while in custody to ensure the implementation of the treatment plan recommended in the Mulago National Referral Hospital report of 8 February 2024, pursuant to Section 74 of the Prison Act, Cap 325, has not been explored. The breast masses having been found to be benign rather than malignant or cancerous, and the experts recommending that the masses be monitored and the mammogram be repeated every 3 years, those masses do not qualify to be termed as grave illness, which cannot be managed while the applicant is in custody.
Although all the sureties presented were substantial to grant the accused bail, given the smooth proceedings of the case, with now 10 witnesses who have so far testified, court found it necessary not to grant the accused bail.
The applicant has, among other things, proved that she has a fixed place overboard, has substantial sureties, is of advanced age, is the sole breadwinner of her family, is a first-time offender, and that there are no other charges pending against her. However, the charges against the applicant are grave. In all cases where an applicant, or accused person, is charged with a capital offense, the court must always have in its mind the overarching consideration of the gravity of the accusation leveled against the applicant.
Court has also based on the gravity of the offense of murder against Mole Katanga and found that the bail application lacked merit.
Being of advanced age, a first-time offender, and a sole breadwinner, all such factors which go to the applicant's credit recede to the background when weighed with the seriousness of the offense. In exercising its discretion on bail, court must consider all the circumstances of the case and consider whether it is in the interest of justice to grant the applicant bail. In the instant case, 10 prosecution witnesses have already testified. Disclosures have been made to the defense in respect of the other witnesses and the hearing of the matter. The court considers all that is before it regarding the application for bail.
Mole Katanga now awaits full trial that will resume on 10th March 2025 before Judge Isaac Mwata. This is the third time this court has denied to grant bail to the accused Mole Katanga. Prosecution alleges that a 55-year-old Mole Katanga on November 2nd, 2023 at Mbuya Chwatu Road, Nakawa Division, Kampala District, with Marisa forethought, murdered the husband Henry Katanga by shooting him dead with a pistol. Deborah Namamonde, Viola Nance Subuga, UBC News.
Well, thank you very much there, Deborah Namamonde. Now, the Defense Public Information Officer, Major General Felix Kulaija, says that the UPDF's deployment in Bunia is part of the Operation Shuja, a joint military operation with the armed forces of the Democratic Republic of Congo, FADC, aimed at neutralizing the Allied Democratic Forces, ADF, and other armed groups in the region.
Uganda People's Defense Forces UPDF on February 18, 2025 entered Bunia town in the eastern DR Congo's Ituri province. The security situation in Bunia, a city in Ituri province of Democratic Republic of Congo, has been volatile in recent years with frequent attacks by armed groups including the ADF rebels.
You are aware we have been operating in Ituri. Ituri province has Bunia as its capital. The instability in Ituri is more than ADF. It includes other militia groups like Kodeko. Now, Codeco and other groups have been involved in ethnic killings in Bunia. And of course, that was displacing people, which in itself was having impact in our areas of operation against, in Operation Shujaa.
UPDF and FADACA commanders met last week and agreed to deploy jointly as part of Operation Shujaa. The two forces agreed to deploy troops jointly in Bunia, the capital of Ituri province, to enhance security and stability in the area.
So the commanders, FRDC and UPDF, met a week ago and resolved that there was a need to stop the ethnic killings. What we were witnessing was the beginning of a genocide. And so UPDF extended its deployments beyond the current positions of Operation Shujaa to enter Bunia.
Killings, rapes and other barbaric violence committed by ethnic groups in northeastern Democratic Republic of Congo against civilians prompted the joint deployment. The operation also expected to have a positive impact on regional security and stability.
South Kivu. How do you bring it to Ituri now? I don't see the relationship. But people are so obsessed with M23 that everything done in Congo is zeroed on M23. Not at all. I find that a bit shallow in understanding the geopolitics. I'm saying it's a generational issue. It's a media problem because I've been answering similar questions from elsewhere. So the problems in DRC are more than M23. So these operations have nothing to do with M23.
The UPDF's deployment is aimed at stabilizing the city and surrounding areas and ensuring the safety of civilians.
That the commanders met first. You see, change of mandate or a new mandate would require meetings from the highest level, heads of states, ministers of defense, CDFs. But this one was a meeting between commanders, Commander Land Forces of Uganda and his counterparts from DRC, FRDC, who met and agreed on modalities of extending the existing operation. Why I want Ugandans or viewers to separate the two? The issue of M23 are political issues, all right? Issues of self-determination. And that's why the stand of the East African community is dialogue. And so the deployment of ICRAF was intended to create an atmosphere, what you would call a conducive atmosphere for dialogue, which meant cessation of hostilities.
Currently, CDFs of East African Community Partner States are meeting in the Kenyan capital Nairobi as a follow-up to the previous meeting of SADC and East African Community over DR Congo conflict. Haruna Mutesasira, UBC News.
Now, security experts in Kampala have criticized the East African community and broader African continent for the insufficient efforts to resolve the long-standing conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Speaking at the forum in Fairway Hotel, figures like Professor Apoli Kasaija, David Mafabi, and Ambassador James Mugume highlighted the 15 years impasse between the M23 rebels and the DRC government.
As opposed to identity politics, for example. It means that it is something which is structural. But even when we say African solutions to African problems, there are two things which we are missing. African solutions to African problems with African money and African leadership. Minus that, forget. Minus the African money that we mobilize. And today, and this is the beautiful thing, we have been arguing and asking, and you have been arguing, why don't we mobilize our African philanthropists? People like Dangote, people like Maziwa, people who have companies in Africa which are making money. But we have not made sure that those people can see the positive, that they can only make money when there is peace. So why don't they invest in peace? Why don't they contribute to the activities of the union? But the good thing again also is that now the African private sector has been mobilized. under the new peace fund. And as I can tell you, the figures which have been given December 2024, at least we have money which has come from the African Development Bank. We have money which has come from Ethiopian Airlines, from the Standard Bank Group. So people now are starting realizing, wait a minute, we also have a stake in the African Peace and Security Architecture, meaning that we have to invest our own money, not wait for someone to bring arms and now things are very difficult. The beautiful thing is President Trump has shown us the way. And if we can think, if we are thinkers, then this is supposed to be the way, which is we are on our own. Do your own things. Let's do our own things.
Could be discussed more in terms of this meeting, but obviously one would say very simply, I would say very simply, everybody needs to speak to everybody. Everybody needs to speak to everybody in the DRC. The people of the DRC need to speak to one another. The region needs to speak to the DRC. The greater region needs to speak to the DRC, to the constituent peoples of the DRC. There is no way we can avoid the question of self-determination, but self-determination redefined under our particular circumstances. Professor was talking about the nation state. We need to define what we're dealing with here, what the problematic would be. And I was writing, when Professor was talking, I was writing here, under our circumstances, the contemporary national.
My first observation, again relating to why the paralysis, is that East African Peace and Security Architecture has come under strain because now it contains DRC, South Sudan, and Somalia, but was originally designed for only 3 countries, the East African countries, which were then looking at a potential to go to form a political federation of East Africa. And now we went 5, including Rwanda and Burundi. And now by 2024, we were 8. We had added on Somalia, South Sudan, and DRC. So you can see the original design and what the architect is handling now. But also that the conflicts, the fact that the conflicts in the new East African member states are coming from different peace and security frameworks. DRC, as you heard, we were dealing with that in terms of the Peace and Security Cooperation under the ICGLR, International Conference on the Great Lakes. And there we were working as SADC and EAC.
Address this problem right back from the late President Nyerere, then the Kenyan president, and I think efforts have been made. But I think, as I mentioned in my brief remarks, I think it's the root causes have not been addressed. Our friends, our brothers in Congo must understand that those Banyamulenge of Rwandese ethnicity are part of Congolese nationals. They were there, they have been there, and as I said, and this applies to all other, as it has been mentioned in the meeting, it exists in all other East African countries and even other African countries. You have Maasai in Kenya, Maasai, Tanzania, you have Ugandan, Rwandese. You cannot wake up today and say, no, you are Rwandese, you go back to Rwanda. They are they are Ugandan, but they are ethnically, they are Rwandese. On the other side of the border, you have Arua and you have Aru. Certainly you have the same tribes.
Now, the Permanent Secretary and Secretary to the Treasury, Ramadan Gobi, has called on Ugandan diaspora community in France to be Uganda's trade, tourism and investment ambassadors wherever they are, as there is no testimony as powerful as theirs. Gobi said this at a special gathering of Ugandan community members who convened at the newly renovated Uganda Ambassador Building at 13 Avenue Raymond in France.
The inaugural Uganda-France Investment Conference was a full house as Uganda presented its investment opportunities to the European investors.
I therefore invite you to tap into Uganda's favorable business environment to include the all-year-round conducive climate and fertile soils for those who may want to be involved in agriculture, abundance of mineral resources such as copper, cobalt, gold, iron ore, limestone, and marble, and the diverse flora, fauna, and natural attractions, adventure, and culture in our tourism industry.
The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Vincent Waiswa-Bagire, officiated the opening on behalf of the Foreign Affairs Minister, emphasizing the need for stronger economic and commercial diplomacy to boost trade and investment between Uganda and France.
We wish to declare the inaugural Uganda-France Forum open.
Representatives from key Ugandan institutions, including the Uganda Investment Authority, Uganda Tourism Board, URA, and the Ministry of Finance took investors through the country's investment landscape, highlighting incentives such as tax exemptions on machineries, raw materials, and extended tax holidays in priority sectors.
We have abundance of tax and non-tax incentives. We give you 100% repatriation.
So all of these stories cannot be told to one person and the other. That's why as a mission, we felt it worthy to call a forum, and I want to thank the government of Uganda, ministries, and all the MDAs that participated. And it is because of them that we were able to unlock a range of companies.
According to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of France, France exports to Uganda include 30% pharmaceuticals, 14% telecommunication equipment, as well as building and mining equipment, and 94% of Ugandan exports to France are food products, 87% cocoa and vanilla, coffee and vegetables.
We have started a serious exercise of getting our economy to work differently, to grow much faster. We have chosen 4 areas we want to promote.
Ramadan Gobi, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Finance, stated that Uganda is shifting its economic approach to prioritize agriculture, tourism, mineral extraction, and ICT.
We want to digitize Uganda to make everything as smooth and seamless as you see them in this developed world.
On the second day, the Ugandan delegation engaged directly with the French business leaders interested in sectors like air transport, satellite development, and debt management.
Mission is abroad. Get investors from France to come to Uganda. Number 2 is markets. So France should increase the import of products from Uganda.
Uganda offers an estimated 14% return on investment, with over 40 French companies, including Total, already operating in the country.
French companies investing $1.5 billion in Uganda, representing 53% of incoming foreign direct investment flow.
We've discussed with different institutions that sponsor different private sector, that they can sponsor our banks, can sponsor individual companies, and we are discussing terms that are favorable to Uganda. We've also discussed possibility of having Ugandan agricultural products have access to the markets to clear out double taxation between Uganda and France. And we have zeroed on June.
The government has also streamlined the Uganda Investment Authority into a one-stop center for investors, reducing bureaucracy and accelerating business setup. The conference also featured a special session with the Ugandans in the diaspora, urging them to invest back home and promote Uganda's image globally. The diaspora raised concerns about taxation, language barrier in trade, and lack of direct flights between Uganda and France, hindering the seamless export of Ugandan goods. The Ugandan diaspora in France is approximately 322.
Why don't you take advantage of some of these? What you do, partnerships.
Meanwhile, government of Uganda has earmarked 60 billion to revamp the 38 embassies worldwide, with the 12 prioritized this year. Additionally, the import threshold for personal effects has been increased from $500 to $2,000 for Ugandans returning home.
So you can carry goods up to $2,000, but they should be personal, not for trade.
What can we get from who? So for us, we're looking at the technology, we're looking at the capital, we're looking at investment opportunities, we're looking at value addition.
Uganda's message is clear. The Pearl of Africa is open to business, and the time to invest is now. I'm Edi Olwa, reporting for UBC TV News here in Paris, France.
Well, thank you very much there, Edi Olwa. Now, as we move ahead, the Director NRM Mobilization, Rosemary Seninde, has officiated the opening of the NRM office in Chebando, Nsoba, where Nambi Farida was unveiled as the party's flag bearer. Let's hear more in this report.
Political parties are preparing to contest for the Kawempe North constituency seat following the demise of Honorable Muhammad Segirinya. Friday, NRM Mobilization Director Rosemary Seninde inaugurated an office in Chebando Nsoba, a Kampala suburb where Farida Nambi was introduced as the NRM flag bearer.
NRM has already identified our candidate. The chairman of the party guided us that we should not, or we should avoid going into a party primary because it would divide our people, and yet we don't have enough time to reconcile our people. So as we speak, we came up with quite a number of processes and procedures through which we have been able to identify a candidate out of the 8 aspirants. And I want to thank God that the candidate that was chosen, or that we came up with, is Nambi Farida. Yes. The process has been long. The process has been long. I may not be able to air it now, but the truth of the matter is we went through a process. And after identifying Nambi, of course we know we had a challenge where one of our friends, or one of the aspirants, decided to cut the baby into 2. But I want to assure you that all the other aspirants, all the 7 aspirants, have agreed to work with our flag bearer.
Seninde urged residents of Kawempe North to support all NRM candidates to ensure effective service delivery.
That this election is like a torch into 2026. I want to assure you that we are working very hard. We have come up with quite a number of strategies that will enable us to win this election by God's grace. But I want to assure you that even much as we have come up with those strategies, the truth of the matter and the confidence is generated from the fact that NRM government has done a lot of things. The president and his government have been able to construct roads in Kawempe. They have given us the flagship program, which is the PDM, and many of the people in Kawempe have been able to benefit. And we know the remaining months to the 2026, many others are going to get. So we want to ensure assure the people of Kawempe that if we work together like a team, we are going to win this election.
Nambi Farida, holding the NRM flag for Kawempe North, pledged support to the electorate.
I want to even call my sister, who wants to split that baby, to really come back home.
Yeah.
And I know as NRM, we are all receptive. We shall continue to talk to her so that she can come back home. We have to deliver this victory for NRM, for our party chairperson. And that is what the persons are doing here today. I salute the Yellow Power movement. I want to pledge as your candidate, as your flag bearer, that we are going to work hard towards this victory.
NRM supporters under the Yellow Power movement have vowed to work tirelessly to secure victory for the party in Kawempe North this time round.
And we have to make sure our official candidate goes through. We are not going to sleep. We are going to spend sleepless nights. We have identified the people who are working. We've been with the team working on the wrong side. They are all coming back. They have all come back, and some are still coming back until the work is done. We assure Ugandans and our president and our party that this time around we are getting a win.
Sudat Kaye and Kayumba Stephen, UBC News.
Now, staff and old boys of Busoga College, Mwiri, have met a former Prime Minister, retired Right Honorable Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda, to update him on the steady progress of the school following efforts to restore its glory. Dr. Rugunda, who is the patron and Mwiri alumni, promised more support to see that the school's glory is fully restored.
Former Prime Minister of Uganda, Right Honorable Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda, also the patron of Mwiri Old Boys Association, has promised support to address existing challenges affecting Busoga College Mwiri.
This program, the new curriculum, requires us to use ICT. The last time we got support from UCC was in 2011. And that's where we're coming from if we request for your support in these two areas.
Computers. I think this is such a legitimate request. Yeah, I'll get involved and I'll have a word with both the Minister for ICT and also the boss of Uganda Communications Commission. These are people who are very effective in many ways and who have worked together in different ways, and who will support Busoga College Mwiri.
Busoga College Mwiri has recently made a tremendous improvement to regain its lost glory.
The school, I think, is one of the cleanest so far in terms of debts. Mwiri has no debt at all. There is no, the suppliers, the staff, we all pay within the period that the board has gazetted. And that's one of the reasons why maybe even the results are improving, because the hyper teacher teaches well. Last year's result, Right Honorable, have given us a motivation. And I want to assure you that this new curriculum is mainly going to favor traditional schools. Mwiri is one of them, because of the facilities. Yes. Leave alone schools that children run through corridors. Ours is everything's there. And most of the vocational subjects, we have the facilities. You got sports, you have the facilities. So because of the facilities we have, even our library, 500 seats.
The old boys are putting together finances to renovate the school's infrastructure.
We are putting up a very iconic gate, and we're doing fundraisings, and we're on the right track. By next week we shall have the process. It's the school doing the process of procurement, or procuring the person who do the works. So far, the people, the old boys that have pledged or contributed are 79 old boys, and out of those, the amount that we have received in cash, that we have in cash on our account, is 40.9 million shillings from the old boys.
Busoga College Mwiri is a renowned secondary school since 1911 that has been instrumental in producing prominent people across the country. Winnie Ainembabas Katrire and Kalisha Stephen for UBC.
So once again, thank you so much.
Here's your chance to win school fees for your child for a whole year. Just pay school fees using Momo.
Hey, Nkowe High School. Now wana tufunye wo muwanguzi owa MTN Momo. Ye wangu de school fees ezo mwaka mulamba tebereza. Hey. owulira otya mutima kati
bannange sanyu byenyina lya mukiwagonya njaganyangu wamali bwalonze erinnyo
esisi
njaani awangula school fees
eza momo ezo mwaka
okumala
mulamba
omwaka mulamba ndi musanyufu
oh my goodness
bannange muteni mweneyanza neyanzeeko
wangi
mwebale nnyo mwebalire ddala
nkubiriza muzadde munnange yonna gy'oli wallahi satulya school fees ku momo pay.
Dial *165 *80 hash. Select option 2 for school pay. Select option 1 to pay school fees. Enter the student number and amount and approve the transaction. You will now enter the draw to win school fees for your child for a whole year.
Looking for instant excitement? The Uganda National Lottery Spin for Cash game is now available online. Wherever you are, you can join the excitement for just 500, 1,000 and 2,000 Uganda shillings. Don't miss out. Register now on www.nationallottery.go.ug for a chance to win your share of 2 billion instantly. What are you waiting for? Play Spin for Cash now, anytime, anywhere. Ituba is the proud operator of the Uganda National Lottery.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Step into a world of excellence, comfort and pride with Royal Foam Furniture, crafted to perfection right here in Uganda. We bring you state-of-the-art living room furniture and bedding products at affordable prices. Our wide variety of mattresses include orthopedic, pillow top, spring mattresses suitable for institutions like hotels and many others for home comfort. With every piece telling a story of royal excellence, our products are built with the highest quality materials made to last. Experience royalty with Royal Foam Furniture, proudly made in Uganda, so buy Uganda and build Uganda. Visit our showrooms at Ginger Road, Chambogo Junction, Bukoto Chisasi Road, and on Victoria Mall, Entebbe, on the first floor.
It's our mission to secure your money.
Protecting your money is as important as earning it. It is for this reason that the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda, DPF, was established by the Government of Uganda to provide deposit protection to customers of regulated financial institutions. In the unlikely event that your commercial bank, credit institution or microfinance deposit-taking institution fails, the DPF will pay you up to 10 million Uganda shillings. Keep your personal information such as national identification number, mobile phone or an alternative bank account updated with your banker. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, contact DPF at Aha Towers, Plot 7 Lodell Road, Kampala. Call 0312-206-400 or visit our website at www.dpf.or.ug.
When you want to relax your body and refresh your mind, welcome to Hotel La Confidential, Aroa's premier destination for luxury and comfort. The only hotel in Aroa City offering a serene atmosphere, breathtaking scenery. Come and discover our exclusive wellness club with packages that include a fully equipped gym, a rejuvenating sauna, steam bath, and a great sky blue swimming pool. For events, our state-of-art conference halls and versatile event spaces are perfect for hosting shows, wedding receptions, birthdays, and more. Come and enjoy our cinema hall and unisex saloon, all designed to meet your entertainment and grooming needs. Bring your family and let your kids splash around in our beautiful kids water park. We are located on Aroa Pakwachi Highway in the heart of Aroa City. Don't wait. Visit us on www.hotelconfidential.com or call us on 0761 688 181.
And into our second segment, Minister for Presidency Bavidie Millie Babalanda has criticized Kabale District Resident Commissioner for commissioning a water project under the Waramba Gravity Scheme, which failed despite of receiving 127 million shillings in government funding. Ms. Babalanda expressed her disappointment and concerns over the mismanagement of public funds.
Diocese kakati bwate yallocating a chemanyi district yallocating a project ey'amazzi mu diocese Kigezi diocese kakati bwateeka eyo ng'ayagala amazzi ago abantu abo bafune amazzi already amazzi agaaliwo already nga diocese eyina amazzi kakati ne bateekako 127 million already nga abakigezi diocese nga balina amazzi kakati buno obukodyo bwonna bwali bwakulya ssente. We cannot tolerate this nonsense.
No, Honorable Minister, we're going to follow.
Yeah, it is better that way.
Who commissioned this building?
This is corruption. Me and sister were engineers and contractors. They would be putting materials and removing materials. Even on the day of commissioning this water project, the councillors were not there from all the levels, and the chairperson was never there, the chairperson LC3. That instead of having monitored whether this water, which has been worked on, whether it is running, for them they were not bothered, and they commissioned the water.
Now, as we move ahead, consumers, food and nutrition experts are urging consumers to avoid raw milk instead of opting for processed milk to safeguard their health. They argue that the processed milk undergoes a rigorous testing, pasteurization and proper packaging to meet all required consumption standards, unlike the raw milk.
Traditionally, people consumed milk in its raw form. However, with advancements in modern technology, this trend is gradually changing. While some consumers still prefer raw milk, food and nutrition experts warn of potential health risks associated with its consumption.
You remember that milk is now being adulterated by unscrupulous traders. The traders have tendencies of separating milk and selling substandard milk to unsuspecting consumers. You do not want to speculate with your money, which is hard-earned, to buy milk which is substandard.
Aikiriza Stephen, a dairy expert at SNV Tide, a Dutch-based organization, emphasizes the importance of switching to processed milk.
The idea of consuming processed milk is good because processed milk is tested on arrival and tested before dispatch. It is also branded. It has labels, it has a standard, it has the consumer instructions, it has everything.
Wamala Sydney Mack, Quality Assurance Manager at Lakeside Dairies, notes that milk sold by roadside vendors is often adulterated, making it unsafe for human consumption. Sydney further explains that all milk received at their factory undergoes thorough testing, and any batch that does not meet the required standards is discarded.
Because the density is normally low, and also the fat content is low in the milk. That is one disadvantage with quality.
As the country intensifies efforts to promote safe milk consumption, statistics indicate that Uganda's per capita milk consumption stands at 64 litres per person, far below the 200 litres recommended by the World Health Organization.
It is better and advisable that we buy milk which everyone can consume. Being a tourist, being a visitor would lavishly take the milk when he's seeing the container on the table. milk like UHT, ultra heat treated milk.
Uganda produces approximately 3.4 billion litres of milk annually, with the western region contributing 46% of the total output. Sudat Kaye and Ambrose Muhumuza, UBC News.
Osmosis again. Osmosis tried to pay. Money wasn't enough. He checked every pocket. Money wasn't enough. Osi, we're sorting it. With the momo, we're sorting it. Osmosis checked again. Money still not enough. He looked everywhere. Hey, but what is going on? Osi, we're sorting it. With the momo, we're sorting it.
When your money is not enough, we're sorting it with MTN Momo. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# to add call with Momo Advance and pay bills, send money or buy bundles.
Government of Uganda presents Post Buses in Uganda, operated by Posta Uganda. We specialize in professional transport, courier and vehicle hire services across Uganda. Our routes include Kampala Masaka Mbarara Kabale Chisoro, Kampala Mukono Jinja Mbale via Tirinyi Road Soroti Lira, and Kampala Luwero Kamudini Gulu Kitgum. Our main offices are located at the Post Office Head Office on Kampala Road, with booking services available at counters 23 and 24 at the General Post Office. You can also book at designated district post offices along our routes. For inquiries or bookings, please contact us on 0751 684 184. Posta Uganda. We deliver trust.
Now let's delve into the world of business. Now in downtown, tonight we take you into the heart of Kampala's streets, where the walkways meant for pedestrians have up until now become a battleground for survival. Vendors say they have no choice but to set up there despite repeated calls for them to relocate to the markets. But is this the problem? Or is the problem with the system or vendors failing to work with authorities? Let's hear more from Sandra Kahunde.
Ways of Kampala tell a story of struggle, one that plays out daily. These spaces, meant for pedestrians, are still being dominated by vendors who claim they have nowhere else to go. But is it simply a matter of survival, or is there a deeper issue at play?
Kampala. Unakatala kowamu nga usafi bena byomukulembeze wako yakasookeramu naye ebizibu ebize mu butalo abamu abatula mu kitongole kya kesinga department genda ebizibu bw'obutalo kubanga abamu bwe bajja mu katale ng'omwana avudde makerera amaze okusoma tamanyi bizibu by'abantu bamufuna mpola era wajja n'ateekawo obuteekateeka gaabwe abayivu omuntu mutembeeyi mufuna mpola omusuubuzi tamanya ago mateeka kubanga okunyigiriza obutale bungi nnyo ng'obutale obwa gavumenti.
Vendors claim markets are too costly and lack the necessary foot traffic for them to make sales. So where does the real problem lie?
Obutale kiri ekizibu eki kuteeka abamakiti master mu butale obwo ne batamanya nti omusuubuzi ategeerera omusuubuzi munne bizinesi omusuubuzi aba amanyi bizinesi omuntu avudde emagere nga yasoma atuula mu ofiisi ku sitewolo ne bamuleeta mu ofiisi mu busatu aba tamanyi bizibu by'abasuubuzi.
Ekitawanya kiri eki be bakulembeza abatukulembera gavumenti abatatuwa nteekateeka ya kibuga. Omuntu waba anoonya kikumi mu kibuga olina wongamba nti ali mumenyi w'amateeka. No, anoonya kikumi kubeera obulaku wali waggulu omuteekeddeteekedde otonda bulungi.
Kizibu kya Kampala y'enteekateeka ya KCC etali nnungi era kubanga yalemererwa okusobola okuteekerateekera ngawo nawe yandadde teekerateekera emala esente ne bazigiwa sente ne zibula ne baleeta abantu ne baleeta abakozi ba city council nga bakibogwe ne balina ngeri gye basobola kukwatamu bulungi bantu.
Is it a failure of urban planning or are vendors unwilling to adapt to the system?
Naliko ku mulembe gwawo omugenzi Sebaana mu kibuga wano naye baali baatuwa license mu bifo ebitanyigiriza b'amaduuka nga gavumenti etufunamu kati tutunuulira nti madamu ono bw'atambula n'ekyo sisitemu n'atambula nayo nagamba nti ku mbuguuto za paaka empya oba paaka enkadde awo tewanyigiriza b'amaduuka abantu abaliwo nti bali bameka nti bali 15 nti katubawe license gavumenti ebafunemu.
In Kampala, vendors fight for a chance to earn a living while pedestrians struggle for space. The debate continues. Are vendors victims of a flawed system or is enforcement too lenient? One thing is clear, the streets remain contested ground. Sandra Kahunde.
Well, that's it from us. Thank you so much for sticking it with us. My name is Patricia Lukoma and Mugalu Mohammed has been with us on sign language. Let's meet again at 10 o'clock. Stay with us.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.